Hey everybody, this is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Andrew.
I'm
And
Garrett.
I'm David.
A toast to you, sir.
Ugh.
I like the Santa mug.
Very classy. Be classy.
I
Nice
won
look.
this
Good
mug.
look.
Where'd you
I
win
take
it
it.
from?
I won it from
Santa
Ugly
Claus.
Sweater Contest.
He won it from Santa in a poker contest. That's what he wants to
Yes.
say.
Are you wearing
Actually,
the ugly
that-
sweater that won?
Say what?
Are you wearing the ugly sweater that won?
I am indeed.
Wow. Here's
It
a question for
says-
y'all. I know we're already derailed, but that's okay.
It's fine.
Ugly sweater contest. Okay, this works for you too. Both of your sweaters are actually cool and not ugly. So
True.
are they ugly sweaters?
I wore this for my work ugly sweater contest. I said, "Can I enter when Will Smith is so beautiful?" They let me enter.
Because
But
Will Smith, not an ugly man.
no,
It's true because the ugly sweater thing has now taken on its own interesting style. Like
Yeah.
I was once given an ugly sweater that had like TIE fighters and X-Wings on it. And I was like, this is actually a very cool Christmas sweater. It is not, even though it was designed to emulate an ugly Christmas sweater.
it is
Right.
good.
Yes.
I was like, this doesn't, an ugly Christmas sweater has to have been knitted by a grandmother who really tried.
That's
You
what I'm
know?
thinking. Because then, Andrew, your sweater says holidays with a Z, and you got like beer steins all around it. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I try to go for something that's a little bit more humorous because why not?
Why
like
not?
but like yeah, as far as ugly Christmas sweaters are concerned, I don't think anyone tries to make anything ugly in terms of Christmas sweaters anymore. I think it's just I've seen some ugly Christmas sweaters, trust me. But like I just don't see them anymore. Like
they're always
actual-
fun.
They're always fun. So
No.
yeah,
All right. So we all agree that it has shifted toward toward being fun Christmas sweaters.
it is.
Exactly.
Well,
Well, creative Christmas sweaters.
what a great little segue, I guess. I'm going to make it one anyway, because we're going to talk about the night before today, where the characters wear ugly Christmas sweaters.
They do.
Segue. So this movie came out in 2015, starring the trio, the legendary trio of Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anthony Mackie. Not a group that I would normally think of together,
Yeah.
JGL kind of slides in there a little bit. I think he's done a few movies with Seth Rogen, but Anthony Mackie was left field.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
a movie that I've liked for a really long time. Garrett, you picked it, so why don't we start like we always have with you telling us why you picked this movie?
I have an interesting relationship with Christmas most times. I've never been Mr. like Grinch, but I've also never been Mr. Festivities. I also had a family member who passed away right on Christmas Eve. It's very similar to Mr. JGL and his family in this movie who died on Christmas. So I always appreciate a tragic Christmas more than a cookie cutter Christmas, because a cookie cutter Christmas is never real to me. And so the more things that go off the walls crazy, the more I enjoy it and the more I connect with it. And so this to me is like what Christmas Vacation would be. Could they get away with a bunch of stuff when Christmas Vacation was made?
Yeah.
This at its core has a great story of a person who's stuck down on his luck, trying to find his way out, friends who love him and are struggling to tell him that he's stuck in his own way, and that the spirit of Christmas fills them. And that is the center of this movie. And it leads to everybody being able to find their own happy endings, going through this trudge of Christmas crap as well, in the most wonderful, humorous way. And so I think that is why this movie is so good, is because it is, to a lot of people, gross, tragic, but at its core, telling a very good Christmas story.
Andrew, what do you think?
Well, so here's my take on it, is that I think for its time, whenever I was first introduced to this movie, it was funny. Like I liked it enough. I'm just like, okay, this is actually, I can enjoy this around Christmas. This time,
Oh no, what are you gonna break my heart?
I'm sorry. I might have to break a heart or two. I
Yeah.
didn't really care for it.
Oh my God.
I really didn't. And I don't know why. I just couldn't get. I was just the more I
gotta figure
watched
out
it, I
why.
was just like, this is like a. To me, I've seen stoner movies before. This is exactly the same as a stoner movie.
Mhm.
And will I watch it again at Christmas? Yeah, sure, I will. But like for some reason, I don't know why. This is just a. This to me, it has its funny bits. It has its funny comedy elements to it. Uh, but all in all, I feel like I don't know. There was just something missing from this. I don't know why. I get the moral of the story. I think it's
Yeah.
told. I think it's told well. I think it's told well. But other than that, I just I don't know. I just didn't feel it this time. Or
Yeah.
whenever I was reviewing this, I just felt, I'm sorry, but I don't like this.
Okay. Okay.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Okay. Well,
That's good to hear.
All right, and that's my hot take. Thank you
I-
for listening to my TED Talk.
I like it a lot. This has entered my annual rotation for the last several years now.
Oh, interesting.
I watch it every year. In fact, typically, this is the movie I use to kick off Christmas. And I watched it last night as of this recording. And I thought, okay, wow, now it feels like Christmas to me because I have watched my Christmas movie. And now I feel the holiday spirit. It's been lacking. Of course, that's also because it's been summertime for the last every other day.
It's true.
So
That's true. We've
I'm
had a green
struggling to
Christmas.
keep the Christmas spirit right now, but the movie helped me get there a lot. I would back everything that Garrett said about it. I think it is a good story with a nice message. It actually makes me. There's times where I'm like, you know what? This pulls at my heartstrings a little bit because they're such good friends and they're just trying to help. What was Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character's name? I can't remember.
Ethan, I think.
Ethan. It's not, yeah, we'll go with Ethan. I should remember, but I don't. They're trying to help Ethan get back on his feet because he's fallen into a rut. It's great, very funny. It shouldn't work. I don't think it should work, but it does. There's great cameos. You've got, well, Mindy Kaling's not really a cameo. She kind of plays a role, but you got Mindy Kaling. The best cameo, obviously, the actual only like true cameo that we're going to talk about is Miley Cyrus.
Yes.
Who
and James Franco.
Yeah, I was going to glide over him, but that's okay. He is also a cameo, and that happens. Yeah. Miley brings it together and helps Ethan very stupidly propose to the one that got away. Love story, Christmas. You got Jason Mantzoukas and Jason Jones as drunk Santas.
Which may not necessarily be cameos, but they are fun moments.
Yeah, I don't know if they're cameos, but they're fun moments.
Always get him in there.
Mantzoukas is off the walls.
He is.
He's always good.
I love him.
Yeah, he's so funny. He's crazy.
Good.
He's never been bad in anything.
No.
I think it's a real fun movie. And now I would love to hear from David.
Yeah, can't wait.
I'd say, and is it Christmas themed? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a Christmas movie?
Yes.
No. Unfortunately, this movie suffers from many, many disqualifiers. Mostly the same one. I didn't need to see pictures of some guy's Yule log. All right. I didn't need repetitive conversation about this man's candy cane. All right. Now, be it Franco's or not. I don't know if it was. That's for us to find out.
I'm sure it wasn't actually.
It is hard for me to look at the movie and not appreciate, I think, the work Joseph Gordon-Levitt put in, because I think he actually turns in a pretty good form. Him and Lizzie Kaplan, I think, have great chemistry.
They do.
I'd love to see those two work together more. Anthony Mackie, in 2015, I wasn't that familiar with Anthony Mackie, but I've become more aware of him over time. And you can kind of see it here that this guy has that sort of big star quality. Very funny.
In other words, Anthony Mackie was on your left.
He was on my left this whole time, and I had no idea. Seth Rogen. My general stance on Seth Rogen is I could take him or leave him.
Okay.
But Here it was all leave him.
Ah!
It was the most annoying part of the story for me. I'll be honest.
He was on a lot of drugs.
He
He was on a
was,
lot
which
of
was
drugs,
an
David.
insane thing to do. I realize that's the point of the movie is
Yeah.
to do insane things, but it was just like an insane thing to do is just to take like one of every
I thought the same thing. I
high-level
thought, why
drug.
would you think more drugs would
Because he
make
was
the
on
first
drugs.
one
You
feel
don't
better?
when you're on drugs.
I realized that once he started the first drug, more bad decisions would be made.
Oh,
but
yeah.
from a perspective of a wife who's See, I know, that's what I'm telling them. From the perspective of a wife, why would you give your husband a box of every illegal drug?
To celebrate. He's been such a rock. She
It's
explained
gonna
it perfectly.
kill him. It's gonna kill the man. You
This
know he's
is
gonna
the-
take every one
They
of them.
understood that this relationship of this particular Christmas tradition was based on drugs and alcohol. And they are weaning down and they are saying, this is your last hurrah. You have been so strong for
Yeah.
me in this pregnancy when I have been freaking out. Here is your chance to cut loose with your friends. You have my permission
was-
to do the things that you used to do. Go do
I'll tell you
them.
what.
I don't know what this is. Here's a box of drugs.
This was her chance to get rid of him. She knew what she was doing. She's like, I'm gonna give this guy. You should not be mixing drugs, prescription or otherwise. That's for true.
I do do that.
So like, she was like, I'm gonna kill this man.
She definitely gave him that opportunity.
And I like how she was surprised. Like they run into each other at midnight mass and he's
Yeah.
clearly off his head. And she's like, what
Yeah.
are you doing here? And it's like, what do you think he's doing here? You gave him cocaine and like
And who knows what else?
Molly and what's that one that starts with an E? Ecstasy.
See,
That's it. All this stuff and like the world's smallest joint. So like
Yep.
it was
The
bound to happen.
proportions are all wrong.
I won't pretend that the movie has no redeeming qualities. It had its humor, it had its fun moments. I did appreciate, even though I wouldn't, like you said, I wouldn't put this group together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put these three together probably, but
Yeah.
I feel like they developed good chemistry.
Yeah.
But I also
Michael
think-
Shannon I found to be really fun.
I also think that, again, that is the deeper part of this story, is that this story is not, again, despite you throw the drugs away, you throw everything else away. What I appreciate is that it is an alternate Christmas story. You look at it as a story itself. It is not your family's on a regular traditional basis. It is
Right.
it is a different perspective of a Christmas story. And that is what I appreciate most of the time. I
Right.
am not a big fan of the traditional classics that you normally hear about and see about, because that is not fun to me. It is not realistic. But this is a more realistic thing, even if it is on the fringe of crazy.
Mhm.
I think that this is a more realistic type of thing that most people live in, and not this perfect cookie cutter world. And that's what I appreciate seeing. And that's why I appreciate the Christmas stories, the vacation movies, that they have that level of chaos that ensues when all of
That
these
level
family
of-
members get together, and each person is in doing their own. I didn't even see it until then. Oh my gosh, I can't even continue. That's so cute.
I know. Right?
He's great.
Winning the people out there. Yeah, there's a level of cynicism here that you don't get from your traditional Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yeah, and
That
most
said-
Christmas movies, most holiday movies live in that perfect little cookie cutter world. And I even if they are like a little controversial, I just like the realism that it gets with language. People are realistic in this to a level of this is how people talk, and most Christmas movies don't have that, and that's why I connect with these a little more.
Yeah.
that's fair enough. I understand.
It's not
It's-
a wonderful life, Andrew. We
When-
know.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying that.
Although it
for
kind of
me-
is, it's a wonderful life.
Yeah, each
Yeah,
well,
person goes through
it
their
kind of
own
mixes a
individual
lot
struggle.
of things. It obviously Mr. Green, played by Michael Shannon, who I actually thought was one of my favorite characters in the movie.
He's great.
He's really
So,
good.
I agree.
Michael Shannon's a
I
really
agree.
underrated, funny actor.
He is.
There's a mix of Christmas Carol in here. He
Mhm.
gives each of them weed, one Christmas present, one Christmas future, and one Christmas past. And then he also is trying to introduce a little bit of a not Christmas story, but a little bit of a Great Gatsby situation in there.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of homage to Christmas stories that are out there. Wonderful, It's a Wonderful Life.
And I
stuff as
think
well.
that's also why I appreciate it, is because this really pushes it to the limits. This is, I appreciate this discussion because it is one of those that it can fall either way, where you have people who really enjoy it or people who do not understand it. But at its level, this is pointing out every single Christmas trope in a Christmas movie. Like there is no doubt that this is a Christmas movie. This is based on Christmas, intended on Christmas, the spirit of Christmas. Everything is centered around Christmas, and it hits every single Christmas trope, but it throws in so much controversy and R to X rated material that it makes people uncomfortable. But at its core, it's doing everything that most traditional Christmas movies do.
Sure.
It's true. I
agree.
At the end of the day, my only real problem with it, and might be a problem that I have with stoner films, or maybe even just the collective work of Jonathan Levine or Levine. I don't know how you pronounce the director's name, but it gets kind of scattershot in the middle of the story, where you have characters kind of just running off into their own little things and not really their own things that really help motivate their character.
I agree.
Overall, like you have C-Rob, he's chasing the Grinch, and you have Seth Rogen just tripping throughout New York, and then you have Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character is just kind of wandering aimlessly, feeling like he's abandoned. But I don't feel like any of those moments they go through overall forward what the story's supposed to be about, which is these two friends trying to help their other friend move on. And so it gets a little scattershot in the middle, and that might just be because they wanted to get the gags in there. They wanted to get all these funny ideas of Seth Rogen puking in a church, and
well, and each person has their own little subplot that they're dealing with. So, it helps Seth Rogen realize that he's not as ready and he's not as honest with his partner about the pregnancy. And so they come to that realization. Anthony Mackie is worried about his fame and losing the touch with his selfness and whatnot. But I do agree that I don't necessarily think that those are necessary stories. I also feel that it gets muddled in that middle part when they kind of break away. But I also think it's important for Levitt's character, because he needs to be abandoned again to realize that he has to get out of his own way, essentially.
Yeah.
But I agree
like
that it gets muddled.
I feel like they could have achieved that a little. Like they could have achieved that, I think, if they just got to the party faster.
I agree.
Because they have this sort of MacGuffin idea of this magical party. And if the idea was that all this stuff was going to get in the way and they were never going to get there, then don't have them get there. But instead they got there with like 30 minutes to go. And then they kind of like sandwich a bunch of stuff into the last 30 minutes of the movie. And honestly, I looked at this party when they walked in. I was like, this does not look like the most amazing party in New York. This looks pretty tame, honestly.
No, but you had to ride a train through a gas station of
I mean,
Christmas
that was cool. And then they
Miley
show up and
Cyrus
it's a pretty traditional looking, rave that on the other end.
But
Miley Cyrus being there is cool for 2015. But
it would be cool today.
Yeah, maybe.
She's a big deal.
It was hot off a wrecking ball, which I did.
It was hot off a wrecking ball.
But yeah, I struggle with how to really properly rate and rank this movie. Will it be in my Christmas tradition? No.
Sure.
But I'm not necessarily sad for having seen it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also do think that the timeliness of the drug capacity of weed, especially that particular story, doesn't hold up as well because it is legal in so many places. So the whole idea of trying to find a person of which to buy drugs from is a little easier these days than it was in 2015 as well.
It is.
And
it also felt like
so that doesn't really hold up as well, but it's still funny.
Some of the timeline of events really kind of felt like it should, like things were taking longer than it should have, at times.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the ending. I gotta say, like everything after the bad stuff was all really good. Basically when they wake up when they are sitting on the bench the next morning, everything from there I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Because there was like a heart. All of a sudden, like here comes a lot more of the heart into the movie.
Well, of the four of us, Andrew, you were the only one who gave what I would call a negative review. So my question for you is, what was your favorite part if you had to pick one?
Anytime that Michael Shannon was present.
Okay.
That's not bad.
But here's the other thing too, is that I want to say that what I want to say was when Seth Rogen's character was in the church and he was high as balls. and like,
It's happening again.
yeah, and he's looking at all the babies, and all the babies are cussing him out. So
We did not do that. Yeah.
that was really funny.
I think my favorite part in terms of a funny thing was actually it was kind of subtle, but it's when Joseph Gordon-Levitt's proposing and Miley is doing little like ad lib backups for him. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't remember all the stuff she says, but she was like, I'm ready to commit. I'm ready to commit.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Is great.
I have the two parts that come out to my mind a lot that I just like are when the trio plays Runaway on the big keyboard. That makes me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when a very high Seth Rogen has an internal debate over whether or not he will perform a favor for this mystery James man.
Yeah.
That conversation, that inner monologue is very funny.
And honestly, I was like sitting there when the situation was revealed, the truth was revealed that it was Mindy Kaling's fun. I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense.
It makes so much
I was so confused by the whole situation. I was like, who is this James guy?
Yeah.
I know.
Mexican that he clearly doesn't remember.
Seth was also very confused.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, we are running low, so let's switch over and talk about how this movie did in the box office. Different expectations for Christmas movies, obviously.
Usually,
They're not
especially
your blockbusters.
especially with an R-rated Christmas movie, you're
Yeah.
gonna have some limitations there. The Night Before opened November 20th, way back in 2015. It opened up in the number 4 spot to $9.8 million. It was not going to be an easy week for it though, because it's open. So in number 5, you had Secret in Their Eyes, brought in 6.5. That also opened that weekend. So that probably took a lot of money. In the number 3 spot, you had the Peanuts movie in its 3rd week. At number 2, we recently reviewed this. That's Spectre. You can that was in its 3rd week, brought in 15 million. And at number 1 spot, oh yeah, the debuting Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 brought in $101 million. So Night Before had its work cut out for it in terms of that open. So yeah, $9.8 million opening. The movie would go on to make $43 million in the United States, $9.3 million overseas, for a worldwide total of $52.3 million. On a $25 million budget. So it made its money back. I don't know what other deals they probably had in terms of merchandising and whatnot, but for an R-rated Christmas film, I haven't done this research. I should have done this before. It's probably pretty good for an R-rated Christmas movie.
I guess
for the year of 2015, The Night Before finished in the 66th spot, just ahead of Krampus, which was another R-rated Christmas movie that year. Number 1 movie of 2015, as you may or may not remember, was The Force Awakens, followed by Jurassic World, Avengers, Inside Out, and Furious 7. Like I said, we just talked about this when we did our Spectre review, which you can check out right now as part of our James Bond series.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay, who is running our letterbox game? I think it's David.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I won last week, didn't I?
I think you did, because it was yeah. I think
All right.
you nailed it, if I remember right. You got
usually I do.
Yeah, you got a perfect 4.0 GPA.
perfect score.
All right, so The Night Before, we're gonna go to Letterboxd, our favorite critical review site, in which you can guess on a scale of 1 to 5. So I'll throw it out to the people. What are your guesses for Jonathan Levine's stoner Christmas comedy?
3.4.
No,
3.4 guess from Garrett.
I was gonna say 3.2.
3.2 guess from Josh.
Keep 3.2.
Andrew, what do
I'm
you
gonna
think?
go with a 2.9.
2.9. So the closest, because nobody got it exactly right, but the closest and the winner this week, he's a winner again. It's Josh, because it's a 3.1.
Oh,
Wow.
3.1.
one more point closer, and Andrew and I would have had to have had a tiebreaker.
Oh,
Some quick reviews, real quick. 2.5-star review from Lucy says, "How is Michael Shannon in every movie?"
He is. Or
He
he
is.
was.
And then someone said this review comes from Elvis the Alien, one of the funniest Christmas movies out there. They gave it 3.5 stars. And this one is a 3.5 review from Robbie. I can't read that. That's I can't read that. That's actually pretty offensive. So it started off fine, and then I got to the end of the paragraph. Anyhow, are you still back there? Okay. All right. Well, that's it for our letterbox review. So, Josh, you win. You'll run the game next week for when we review something.
Yes.
What do we give it personally?
What do we rate it exactly?
4 stars from me. It hits the Christmas tropes. It makes me laugh. I got no problems with it. It delivers the Christmas message in a comedic package and a heartful one as well.
I got to think about this.
It's also a 4-star for me for the same reasons listed.
4 from Josh and Garrett. Andrew, I don't know if you should go. I don't know if you should go first or I should. I'm trying to think about this.
I'm so excited.
I'll go first.
I'm so excited.
2.5.
Oh, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Perfect. That works out for me because I was going to give it, I think I'm just going to give it a 3 because it wasn't so bad that it wasn't bad. It was just not really my type of Christmas movie.
Yes, I will. I mean, I'll definitely keep it.
No. You can't say that because you enjoy Office Christmas Party.
Yeah, well,
which is objectively a little worse than this. I think.
Question.
Ooh.
But I think that movie's funnier. I don't know why, but
because you don't like nothing but potty humor.
What?
You like toilet humor, and that movie has
Yes, I
more
do.
toilet humor than this one. It's shocking.
Yeah. Yes.
There's probably, you know what it is? I bet in Office Christmas. Oh no, that's exactly what it is. There are fart jokes in that movie. There are not fart jokes in this movie. That is why Andrew likes it more.
Which really shockingly that there weren't. Am I right?
I can agree with that.
This is a Christmas movie, not a fart joke movie.
But
No,
in
this
Office
was a
Christmas
Christmas
Party,
theme movie. Anyway,
Kate McKinnon's whole gimmick is that she farts.
Oh,
And that is what Andrew likes about it.
I totally
Case
forgot about
closed. Case closed.
case closed. He forgot about it, but look at him laughing now.
Okay, well, that brings our aggregate review to a 3.375.
Pretty
Well,
close.
3.5 is what it'll be. So
Yeah, that's pretty close to the letterbox score.
that's our review of The Night Before. We should have one more Christmas movie review to send out to y'all before Christmas hits. So look forward to that. Then we've got we're gonna review Spider-Man No Way Home. So watch that because we will be spoiling it. And then we will end our season with our 2021 wrap up. And then we will start planning for season 5.
5
So
seasons.
exciting.
Wow.
So find us online at somanysequels.com. You'll find all our links there. We'll see y'all next time.